Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today is going to be a rant video, and I'm sorry if I jump around a little bit, but I feel like a lot of these messages need to be said, and this is specifically to USA knife companies. Starting it off, 1, stop doing things 2 years too late. You guys are always behind the curve, and you're letting, and I hate to say it like this, but you're letting China just walk all over you and just letting them stomp you out in every single way. You know, from being, innovating to doing things on time. Like, stop doing things 2 years too late. You guys are wanting to jump on the bandwagon after, it's already been done and everybody's getting sick of it. It's kind of like D2. Right? D2 has been being used for years now as the budget steel. If you're just now switching over to D2, you're late to the game. We are moved on to 14C28N, 154CM, and Nitro V right now. That would be the better bet for budget steels. Granted, D2 is a quality steel for a budget knife, but it's just outplayed, it's outdone. And I understand maybe you can get it more affordably so you can keep your prices down lower, but it just winds up being too late. Just like with other things like locking mechanisms and so many more, right? Like, I guarantee next year we're going to see a bunch of USA companies coming out with button locks when we've been doing button locks for 2 years now, and it's like, come on, guys. Jump on it when it's popular or before it's popular. Be the innovating one. Be the one that jumps on the curb. Why play it so safe that it makes it to where you look bad? Now, another thing, about being innovating. You got to take a little bit of chance, and it's doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. I understand in many cases it's for big box stores, right? I get it. For big box stores, and you want people to be able to walk in and those people are buying knives. Maybe that's the market, right? Maybe that's the market. But that's gonna come to more of a halt. The more the internet gets bigger, more people are going to start purchasing their knives off online. They're going to start going online to purchase their knives. Walking into box stores is going to be the past very soon. So, appealing to those people more so than the community is probably not a good idea. The community is expanding bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know a lot of people are not in the community, which is fine. But I think appealing to the community and appealing to that type of audience is going to be very beneficial. Some of the USA companies, they have a lot of beautiful designs, great designs, but the execution is just shit. Like, absolute shit. Like, it's mind-boggling how poorly the grinds in the little details, right? It's like, granted, I understand this isn't a $300 knife, but in 2023, if you have a knife around $100, $150, your plunge grinds, your choils, your grinds, all these things should be done well. Like, there should be no excuse for you to have bad plunge grinds and bad choils and super thick geometry with wonky blades. Like, and the thing is your competitor is doing all these things. They're doing it all. They are involved in the community, contacting influencers in the community, being a part of it, taking advice, doing the things that the community and knife people are wanting, being innovative, starting trends. They're doing all this stuff, and it's gonna come a time where it's gonna be difficult to catch back up. Right now is the time. Right now is the time. If you do not get a boot in your ass and start taking it more seriously, I hate to say it like this because to me, the USA companies are the best in the world. But it's starting to become where they are second. They are not the best. And it hurts me to say that. I don't want to say that. But it's getting to that point to where people are looking at USA knives how we used to look at Chinese knives. And that's a fact. People are literally doing that. And it's because a lot of the companies are just not taking it seriously. Their knives look like they would have been in the early 2000s. We're in 2023 now. Lots of things have innovated in the knife realm. Now, granted, like I said, I understand big box stores when you're selling super cheap knives to Walmart or Bass Pro Shop. I get it. You got to appeal to those people to some extent. But like I said, I think that's going to start becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And I can't speak to everything the USA companies do. I'm sure there's so much to it that I can't even comprehend. And of course there is. But from the outside looking in, from my position looking in, in talking to everybody in the community and hearing their screams and their pleads, they're begging for the USA companies to do better, to be more innovative, to start trends, and even as little as, and this isn't little, this is massive. Your damn steels and heat treat, step it up. Come on, I mean. We're in a time where people understand heat treating. People have HRC machines. People test these things. We do cut tests. We can see what is good, what is not, and what performs and what gets outperformed. And you don't want to be the company that's running soft steel with a steel that's not even adequate, right? And if and then when you do get an adequate steel, you're not even running it at an optimal range, right? And don't get me wrong, a lot of the companies are. There are a lot of them that are, and I applaud it. But we've got to, not we, you guys, you guys have got to start taking at least just a little bit of advice with little things. Now, granted, I understand, don't take advice from everybody, right? But if the same thing gets said over and over and over and over and over, right, for 2 years straight, and then maybe you start doing it 2 years later, it looks bad. You're behind the ball. The community was begging you for that 2 years ago. Get more involved in the community, because a lot of the other companies, the overseas companies, they're all innovating into the community, making friends, making posts and asking, literally reaching out to the people and asking, hey, what do you think about this? How does this look? Would you guys like to see this? What's your opinions on this? What would you like to see from us this year? All these things are happening, but I rarely ever see that from any USA company. And even when it comes to the companies that are making, the super budget knives overseas, right? Like, you'd think that you would want those knives to sell out or to sell more. And you can be involved in the community. Like, you have, I don't think you guys understand how much the community backs you up, right? But you're making it to the point to where it's difficult to back you up. It's difficult to argue for you. It's difficult to stick up for you. If you get into the community a little bit more, right? Be involved with it a little bit more. Obviously work with some of the social media people, right? And I'm not saying this so that all these companies will reach out to me. It's just the point. It's just the point that if you're involved with the community, then you know what they're wanting, and you know what you can do next, and what's going to work, and what's going to make you look good. That's what it's going to do. It'll make you look good. Obviously it is about money at the end of the day, and I get that. I 100% get that. And we want you companies to make more money. We want you guys to make money. We want you guys to be the leaders in the knife community, not the followers. And it's sad to say, but that's where it's getting. It's getting to the point to where the USA companies are looked at as the crappy knives, the knives that are shit. Not all, right? Not all. And, and obviously, at over a certain price, some of the USA companies are really good. I just like to see, the USA companies step it up. And I think all of us do. I think all of us are really wanting that. And I 100%, and I know it's not about me, so I know this sounds kind of arrogant, but I would 100% talk to any of the companies and give my feedback or what I think. Sometimes I it's mind blowing to me when I see what some of the knife companies come out for the year, and you look at it and it's like, wow, this is depressing. Like, this is nothing, like, there's nothing appealing about what you came out with this year. And the couple that are appealing, you didn't even execute right. They're shit. And you think, and then, but we think about it like, man, if you'd have just did this, this, and this, we'd be screaming. We'd be doing backflips over it. Literally, like going crazy. Like, man, can you believe so-and-so company did this year? Wow. But that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. But we're rooting for you guys. We're rooting for you guys 100%. Don't let us down. Please don't let us down. Don't make it to where we look at your knives as the crappy knives in the knife world. Because it's getting damn close to that, if not already. So turn it around. Make it to where, I know, like I said, I know it's all about money. But, make it to where we're happy to spend the money with you, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want our money to stay in the U.S. We want it to go to the USA companies, but make it a little bit easier for us, just a little bit. Don't make it so damn difficult. And for the ones that are making knives overseas, same thing. We understand that you're a USA company making knives overseas, of course, right? But that doesn't mean that you need to try to make those knives as crappy as possible. Because granted, now you have the ability to lower the price, right? You have the ability to give it to us at a more affordable price. So why aren't they as good as the knives that are coming from overseas? The ones that are literally, from an overseas company, done by the overseas. Why are they so much better than what the USA companies are making overseas? And I'm talking about the big USA companies here. I'm not talking about the small ones, the designers and stuff like that. I'm talking about the big companies, So I waited a couple days, and because I was trying to decide whether or not I was going to post this video or not. And I've decided, yes, I'm going to post this. But I do think it's important that I explain where I'm coming from and where this is all coming from. So, and it's a multitude of things. This stuff has been transpiring for the past couple of years, but a few months ago, I tried to put together a top 10 USA-made knives under $100 or $100 or less. And I wanted the knives on that list to be manual knives. Not assisted, because assisted knives is like 10 years ago, right? People don't, and I understand big box stores and people that don't know any better, they love assisted knives, but that's because they don't understand that detents exist and that there's good action knives. But now more and more people are acknowledging that. The assisted knives are not what's wanted in 2023. People want manual knives with good quality detents. It shows that you can be consistent, because assisted knives let you cut corners. It makes it to where you don't have to have a good detent. You don't have to perfect a detent and have smooth action. Now, not saying that automatic knives aren't really good, but assisted knives in particular, when you think of a good quality knife, you don't think assisted. You think manual. You think a good detent, nice smooth action, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's what I was trying to put together in my list. Now, I knew that it was going to be very difficult, but I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be. And that in the end, I couldn't do it. In the end, I could not make a top 10 list without making a lot of the knives assisted knives. Now, some of the manual knives that were made in the USA that were close to $100 couldn't even stand next to or compete with most $20 Chinese-made knives. And I think that gets ridiculous when I can't even find a USA-made knife at $100 that's better or equal or better than a $20 Chinese-made knife. I think that's outrageous. I think we should be able to compete. Most people don't spend $500 on a knife. Most people are going to be in the $50 to $150 price range. Most people are going to be under $100, But if they had knives from the USA that they could buy under $100 that haven't been out since 1975, right? Like newer knives that actually are in the market and are evolving and doing better and better and better, then they would be buying them. But there is none. So that's one thing. Another thing is that I reach out to knife companies, and not even just knife companies, USA-made companies constantly. I constantly reach out to them. A lot of them never return my call. They never even look at my message. They never respond, never anything. And some of them do, though, and shout out to all the ones that do stay in communication with us. But as far as the Chinese companies, oh man, they reach out to you. They send you all their new products. They'll send you prototypes. They'll send you drawings and asking you what they could do better. Do you see anything wrong with this? They'll literally go out of their way to make sure that their product, by the time it's on the market and into our hands, is exactly what we're wanting. They go out of their way to do that stuff. They will literally send you Christmas gifts. They'll wish you happy birthday. They literally go out of their way to be a part of the community and be involved. And that makes a lot of these USA companies look bad because they're not competing. Because to me, and this is just, my personal opinion, if it was me, I would be insulted. I would say, no, these are our influencers. These are USA influencers. They're our influencers. How dare you send stuff to our influencers without us sending stuff to them? So I would be competing if it was me. I'd be sending stuff to them. I'd be in communications. I'd be talking to them. I'd be going out of the way to make sure that I'm involved in the community and that everybody in the community sees us, working with, the community and trying to evolve and grow into exactly what they want. Whether it's the heat treat quality, whether it's the fit and finish, whether it's the blade geometry, so on and so on and so on. So, when I see this constantly happening and it's over a long period of time, it starts leaving a bad taste in your mouth, when you start thinking of the USA companies and how recommendable they can be or how recommendable they are. And trust me, I'm 100% recommend the USA made knives the most. Out of all knives, 100%, I recommend USA made knives always. But don't make it hard for me. Don't make it difficult. Make it easy for me to do that. But I hope that everybody understands that this is coming from a good place. This is coming from a place of love. Think about how, if you had a family member, right, and you had to reach out to them and you wanted to talk to them. That's kind of how I feel about this. That, I'm coming from a place of love, and I want nothing but the USA companies to make all the money they can and to grow and be the best companies possible. And I want nothing more than to advocate for them and to scream about them. So this is coming from a good place. And if you guys, want anything said, or if you guys want to say anything to any of the companies, leave it down in the comments. Hopefully, I hope that some of them watch this, or I hope they all watch this. But if you think that I'm wrong about this and you think that I'm out of line, let me know down in the comments. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking about it too much. But thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Peace.